Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Ken Kleinberg. He's the founder and CEO of Mastery Weight Loss and a fierce advocate for truth in the health and food industry, empowering Christian men and women to break free from the diet culture and achieve lasting weight mastery. With over 13 years of experience and a 62.5-pound transformational weight loss that he sustainably kept off for 7+ years, Ken is a trusted coach, speaker, and author, helping clients worldwide reclaim their health through faith and fact, not fads. How you doing today, Ken?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. I was excited to have you on. I liked our first conversation, and then I was a guest on your shows, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know you and kind of seeing what you're doing and all the help that you're bringing people.
Thank you.
So yeah, it was awesome having you on. But to start off, for those that don't know you yet, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I am located in San Diego County, California.
Okay, you've been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
I want to say San Diego County. I've been here for since 2000, permanently since 2015. Before that, I had a house in Temecula, California, which I resided in from the time frame of 2003 to 2015.
Okay.
But I grew up actually in Long Beach.
Okay, I got you. Well, you've been there long enough that you have your haunts. So if you have some friends coming in the town that have never visited before, where are you going? What are you doing? And what's for dinner?
Currently, like if that were to happen, it's a place called Farm to Smash. And the reason why, it's a brand new place that just opened about roughly 3, 4 months ago. And so the burger patties that they use are freshly grounded from meat there in the shop that's sourced from farms. That's number one. Their buns are freshly sourced from bakeries, so it's not like the buns that we get today at normal burger places with a whole bunch of weird ingredients and stuff. These are like great buns. And then two of the biggest things for me, their fries are freshly made right there in the place, and they are fried in beef tallow, not industrial seed oils. Secondly, the dressing, the sauces that they use on the burgers, they're avocado oil based, so no seed oils there. All wonderful ingredients. It is a great place. I'm going to tell you this. I have never had a burger, bun and all, that is melted in my mouth like this place. This place is the bomb, and it's the go-to. It's the new go-to place.
That's awesome. Sounds like you have dinner figured out for sure. But what about fun? If you have people come in, what's the entertainment? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, I'm kind of a little bit more chill. Like if the weather's acceptable, then, hey, maybe we go get some burgers and chill in my yard. Let's have a fire pit. Let's have a couple beers. Or I can take you to an Irish pub, or I can take you to Stone Brewery, which is literally down the street from us. There's a whole bunch of local things that we could definitely do and just kind of like soak up a little bit of atmosphere for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that sounds great. And based on your description of what dinner is, we have a hint. But what is it that you do?
So what I do is I literally help people to be able to I literally help people to be able to lose weight, feel energized, and eat healthy without starving or dieting. And how I do that is through 3 powerful short sessions with me in a mini educational boot camp series that I have running right now, which I'll get to later. And this series exposes the 3 biggest lies that are keeping people sick, stuck, and overweight, because that's how that industry makes money. And I show them how to fuel their body God's way so that they can finally break free and keep the weight off for life, like I've been able to do.
Awesome. Well, is this something you've always wanted to do, or what's the story? What led you down this path?
What led me down this path is my own transformational journey, number one. So losing 62.5 pounds, keeping it off for 7+ years. But then around summer of 2020, there's a lot of interesting things that happened around that time. And I'm not going to get into like a whole bunch of that on what my beliefs around that is, but let's just say summer of 2020, I became very suspicious around a lot of things going on. Whether or not what we were being told is the truth or not, all those things. And then I started deep diving down the health and wellness and food industry. And that's where I discovered that we have been lied and deceived at a very massive, wide, far and wide level. And a lot of those ways people don't even know today. People are out there making heartfelt decisions at the grocery store, thinking that they're making great decisions for their family, for their kids, for their grandkids, whatever it is. And the truth of the reality is 80 to 90% of them are buying into marketing deceptions and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. And a lot of the clients that come my way, they're at the place to where they literally know something's off. They're suspicious about food, but they're missing all the puzzle pieces. They are missing all of that. And so they come to me because they see that I have all the puzzle pieces that can fit into that. And that's exactly what I empower people with, is those missing puzzle pieces. What about this food industry that is so deceptive? Why can't I lose weight right now? Why am I unable to keep it off? Why do I have so many snacking issues? Why do I have such a big emotional eating problem? Okay, right? What a lot of people don't realize is the core and root issue of a lot of that is these industry processed foods that have literally been created to bring people to a state of addiction and a state of a bliss point, which then ends up hooking people in. The industry has literally created foods to bring people to a perfect bliss point, not above, not below, just that perfect bliss point, which then eventually begins to form new neural pathways that leads them down a path. These new neural pathways then begin reprogramming their taste buds, they reprogramming what their cravings are, and begins to lead them down a path of craving now these foods. And I am going to be the first one to say, for sure, I'm not going to deny it. Those foods, they are delicious. Okay, they've been designed to be delicious, though. They have not been designed to be nutritious, though. Yes, you heard me right. They have not been designed to be nutritious. They have been designed for one purpose and one purpose only: addiction, to keep you coming back for more. And so a lot of people, and the other thing about these products is they're advertised as healthy. You see it all over the front of the box, the packages, how healthy it is, low in calories, helps to lower cholesterol, great source of fiber. Look at all the vitamins and minerals. What they don't tell you is those vitamins and minerals are synthetic and they do you no good. And so a lot of people are out there thinking they're making those healthy choices when really it's not. And so I help people to literally be set free from all that. They get to come into my world. I fill in the pieces and I give them a foundation to stand on, to which they will never be moved from again in this industry. So there's people that come to me that feel like they're going to be restricted. They're going to lose their freedom with the food choices. They're not going to be able to live their life the way they want to, right? And I'm going to say that's all a myth. Actually, by the time I get done with them, they find that they have more freedom than they ever had before. They finally feel empowered and they finally feel in control of their health. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then some. It answers a couple questions. No, no, we'll get to that. No, that's awesome. What is it that you love most about this?
Watching my clients make the connections when they're going through the sessions with me, watching the light bulbs go on, watching the connections being made. I had one client at the end of one of her sessions in my boot camp series. So it was the end of her last session with me, say these words. And I'll never forget it because I've never heard these words out of anybody's mouth. Well, now I'm excited to go to the grocery store. I mean, who even says that? Like, I don't even say that. And I know all the things, but I hate going to the grocery store, right? But she was empowered enough to where she can say, I'm excited to go to the grocery store now because I gave her eyes to see. I broke down the mirage that had been built in front of her all of her life. And I gave her the truth, which empowered her. And now she was excited to go to the grocery store. Client after client that I've had has had a similar story to that. That's what excites me is the people that God brings me. By the way, yes, everything I do is unapologetically faith based. I am a Christian, and yeah, all my products are unapologetically faith based. But every time God brings me somebody and brings them into my world, and I get to touch them, and then I get to watch their life change after that, that means the world to me. And that's what I desire is to touch more people and to free them. You know, you see the flag back in the background. There's a lot of leaders out there that their goal is to give the power back to the people in their constitutional choices, where what I stand for is giving the power back to the people in their food choices and helping to give them more freedom.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but in general, what does your average client look like, or what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with X, Y, or Z, you're the person they should be talking to?
That is huge. So pain points like so yeah, I did kind of touch on it a little bit. They come into my system, they're already suspicious. They've been through the system. They've seen people out there. They've seen the diets not work. They've seen people work hours and hours in the gym. They've seen that not work. They've seen people lose weight. They've seen people gain it back. Maybe they've experienced that for themselves. They know something's not right. They know something's broken. They just can't put their finger on it. And they're also almost afraid. Like, you know, is this going to literally upturn my world and my lifestyle? And no, no, I'm actually going to give you more freedom. And I'm actually going to teach you how eating healthy and food prep and all that is easy and time efficient. Because I also get a lot of people that are busy entrepreneurs. And then there's the people that are struggling with snack addictions. There's people that are struggling with hunger issues, emotional eating, and then they're beating themselves up over that emotional eating, thinking that there's something wrong with them. I know there's people out there that are doing that. And the truth of the matter is like I said, the root of the cause is these industry created foods. And so those are the kind of people, and a person that wants to lose that last 20 pounds, the person that wants to finally be able to keep that weight off and can't figure out why they've never been able to keep that weight off. Those are the people that I serve.
Okay, what about power partners? What are other professionals or individuals out there that you synergize really well with, or that you're able to refer back and forth, or help your clients in corresponding ways?
Power partners, that is a really good question. So I would say people that um, align, other coaches, power coaches that definitely align with, you know, empowering people with the truth. So not believing in, let's throw a couple things out there, not believing in the lies of cholesterol. Cholesterol should never be something we lower. So one of your listeners listening to this might go, what? What in the world? Oh, trust me. Yes, there is a big cholesterol con. Um, I just really enjoy partnering up with people that really and truly have a message to empower people with their food and health choices and that are aware of the deceptions out there and are truly giving people holistic choices. And what I mean by holistic is not plant based, because that's a whole nother can of worms. And I'm not going to get too far into that, but so yes, I am. I do tend to lean more towards animal-based proteins because I believe that is um, that through all the study that I've done, that is literally the most nutritious thing you can do for your body. And I've read study after study after study on those things, and so just people that have the same passion. as I do, and same desire to empower people with their food choices and having that be sustainable. And I'm not talking food choices as in healthy protein bars or protein shakes or different things like that. I get a lot of people that come to me sometimes and they want me to partner with them with their products. And I'm not really a product kind of guy. And the reason for that is because I think we need to be attacking the foods that people are eating first and getting that in line. And then if we need to add in some supplements on the side, okay. But first, we need to handle all this other stuff first. So that's kind of one of the reasons why. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you give to a new or an aspiring entrepreneur?
The advice that I would give is, well, be more specific. What do you mean? Advice as far as their health and weight loss goals?
You're on your own entrepreneur journey outside of the specifics of what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. We all have similar bones to business, right? You're always dealing with similar areas. Every niche has its own challenges to overcome, but just in general, if you're looking at a new entrepreneur starting whatever endeavor, what are some of
Okay.
the pain points that you faced, or how you overcome them, or what advice would you give them in general?
Okay, now I get what you're going. Okay, yeah, I can speak a lot into that because my journey, honestly, I really would not trade any of the journey of building this business. I launched my brand and company back in summer of 2020. And I made a decision because I'd been through program to affiliate thing to this affiliate thing. Blah, got really burnt out, and that's why I decided to launch my own brand finally. And when I launched, one of the biggest agreements that I made with myself is I am not going to move from this position until I get my business off the ground. I am staying here. I am anchoring my feet right here, and I'm going to work at this until my business is a smashing success. So that's one thing I would say is stick with the one thing. I don't care how difficult it gets. I don't care how discouraged you get. Stick with the one thing. Never quit. Never give up on yourself. Embrace the difficult times. Grow through those. Get yourself a good coach. I have a phenomenal coach. Her name is Francine Ivy. Maybe some of your audience might have heard from her, maybe not. She's a kingdom-based entrepreneur. She's a Christian, and she works with other Christian entrepreneurs as well. And she is literally responsible for taking me from struggling to now I have a global client base. And so get yourself a good coach. Never quit on yourself. Learn from the hard times. Learn from the hard times. I can't say that enough. Learn from the hard times. I've had plenty of discouraging moments. Is this ever going to happen? Is my business ever going to take off? Am I ever going to get clients? Lord, when are you going to bring me my first client? I've been through all of that. Stay the path. Keep going. Retweak things, get your message down, niche down, get all that together. Eventually, you will make it if you stay the path, but you have to stay the path.
How can people lose weight without relying on diets or gimmicks?
Oh, gosh. First of all, I'm going to say this. I want you to take everything you've ever known about a diet, paleo, keto, carnivore, whole 30, even the weight loss injections, Weight Watchers. That's another big one. All of these lists, all these plans, all of these concepts, I want you to take them. I want you to put them in a nice cardboard box. I want you to close the box, maybe put a nice red bow on it if it pleases you. And then I want you to go to the grocery store. I want you to buy the biggest bottle of lighter fluid that you can find. And then when you get home, I don't want you to squirt it on the box. I want you to snap off the whole cap. I want you to dump that whole bottle on the box. And then I want you to light it into a blaze of glory. Because if you're going to lose weight and keep it off like I've been able to do, it cannot be about a diet anymore. It cannot be about that mindset at all. That mindset robs you of a very precious treasure, and that is the becoming process. The inward journey, the journey that happens inside. So, not necessarily the external, the inward, the internal journey, the mental, psychological journey, the journey of becoming. That's how I've been able to keep my weight off. It isn't because of some special thing that I do or whatever. It's because every change and every new habit literally had enough time to sink in and become part of who I was internally and become automatic. That's the key. That's exactly what diets rob you of, is that precious journey. That's why 95% of the people can't keep the weight off once they've lost it. Anybody can go and lose weight, 20, 30, 40 pounds. How many do you know that have been able to keep it off? Right? Not very many. The secret, if you will, there really is no secret, is embracing the inward journey. Embracing the journey through that, taking the weak moments of that journey, the challenging moments of that journey, and using them as leverage points to grow, get stronger, and get wiser. That is exactly what diets rob people of. It cannot be about a diet anymore, and it should never have been about a diet to begin with. That is an industry. It's a $1 trillion industry for a reason. People come back over and over and over again because the root issue was never fixed. So my answer to how can people lose weight? Well, let's start there first. And then there's 3 simple things that I give people through my boot camp, my educational boot camp. Number 1, start turning the freaking thing over. And yes, I say it that way. That's a coined phrase in my boot camp. Number 2, buy things with minimal ingredients and ingredients you can understand. Better yet, number 3, buy things with 1 ingredient.
Yeah, no, fantastic advice. What are the biggest lies the food industry doesn't want you to know?
Oh Lord, that is a can of worms. So I think I kind of already touched on that in the beginning when I talked about the bliss point. What a lot of people don't know and is still widely unknown is that back in the 1980s, the 1990s, the cigarette and tobacco industries, they were declining in profits. And so they had to make some kind of seismic shift to rescue their profits. And so what did they do? Well, they turned to food. They turned to our food. And they began they took their top researchers and scientists that worked so hard to make cigarettes addictive. And they then reassigned those people to our food, to make our food so addictive that it hooks people in and keeps people coming back for more. The more detrimental part of that is, it became widely known back then that cigarettes were not good for you, highly addictive, cancer causing, all of that. That's why their profits declined, because it became widely known, right? We all know that now. It's common knowledge. What makes this so detrimental and just tragic, and I would almost say kind of like genocide, if you will. And I know that's a big word, but I'm trying to find a really powerful word, and it's not coming to my mind. But I think people listening get it as I'm saying this. The thing that's different here is those foods are still being advertised today as healthy. And that's what I want to dismantle for people. And that's what I want to set people free from. This industry is never, ever going to put out something that is in your best health interest or nutritious for you. So how you step out of that is taking matters into your own hands. Number 1, switch where you're spending your money. Quit giving your money to these companies. Number 2, start educating yourself on harmful ingredients, bioengineered ingredients, genetically modified ingredients, ingredients that are long word and you don't understand what the heck it is. Synthetic vitamins is another one. This industry is bent on one thing and one thing only: profit. And everybody's in bed with each other. Everybody's in bed with each other. All these companies and different things like that. The food pyramid is another big one. That food pyramid that came out in 1990, 1992 was literally designed not for your nutrition, not for a better way of eating, not for your health. It was designed to send you back into the system of their industry processed foods. Look at the bottom. We're supposed to eat 6 to 11 servings of starches and carbs and cereals and all that other stuff. Are you kidding me? And we're supposed to limit our protein? That's insanity. And that's a recipe for obesity and diabetes right there. But you see, it wasn't created for a better way of eating, it was created for profit. If you really think about it and you put your logical thinking and critical thinking cap on, you'll be able to identify that. Did that answer your question, my friend?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, how does faith play a role in achieving lasting health and weight loss?
I love that question. And with that, I'm looking over here on my secondary screen. I actually have a formula, a couple things that I teach people. So, number one, this particular framework is about sustainability and time. So, let's put it this way. Before I get into this, let's put it this way. About a year and a half ago, I really started leaning in and asking God to be a part of my branding company. And how do I weave you into this? Lord, how do I bring you into this? And that's when I saw things blossom. That's when I saw things explode. That's when he brought me my kingdom coach. And so, first of all, invite God into that journey because he does want to help you. I was sorry that I did not do it sooner with my business. And now I'm even more sorry I didn't do it with my weight journey, but that's far gone and that chapter is closed. But he's here now. Invite him in the journey because does God want you to be healthy? Yes. Does God want it to be a freeing journey? Yes. Because he did not create food to be a source of frustration or deprivation. That's not what food was created for. The enemy has made it that way. Satan has made it that way. What was the first temptation known to man? Eve, if you eat of this fruit, you'll be like God, knowing good and evil. But what is the apple? It's food, isn't it? He began in the very beginning with tempting man with food. Jesus, after fasting for 40 days in the wilderness in Matthew chapter 4, Satan came after him with three temptations. What was the very first one he started with? Food. If you turn these rocks into bread, right? Food again. The enemy's been at it from the very beginning, and what makes you think he's still not deceiving you with that as well in current day? So one of the frameworks that I use with my clients is sustainability and time. So that's sustainability plus leaning in on God for strength, because you can't do it on your own. And third, time and the long haul. And what does that equate to? That equates to an unshakable transformation in your weight loss journey that honors your worth, glorifies God through every choice, and creates sustainable, lifelong health and freedom with results that last a lifetime. God must be a part of that journey. Because when you think about it, as a Christian, our walks with Christ are a process of sanctification. There's a process going on there, and it's kind of a lifelong process. So it's not going to happen overnight. And so your weight loss journey is the same way. You didn't gain the weight overnight. Why would you lose it overnight? So that's how I frame that. And then it's also your journey is about growing through the challenges and weak moments. It's about patience over perfection. There's an interesting question that I ask around that. What would happen if God were as patient with you as you are with yourself? I often love to sit back and watch people's reaction as they let the reality of that sink in. It's about patience, letting God work with you and grow with you and inviting his strength in. That's so, so vitally important. Lastly, focus on the long haul. It can't be a short journey anymore. It's about the long haul. And one last nugget I'll throw, because I know we're running out of time here. Long haul meaning a year or two. Are these changes and habits and adjustments I'm making in my journey, are they sustainable for the next year or two? Not that it's going to take that long, because it's not. Probably like 2 or 3 months. I just don't want you thinking that way. You're going to frame that with the next year or two, because now you're creating a whole different ball game field to play on. And that's key. So, does that answer your question? I gave a lot there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we go to close it out, I always like to ask this. I think it's the most important question. Why you? What sets you apart from everybody else out there doing something similar?
What sets me apart is I really believe that, and I've had personal trainers in the gym tell me this, that not very many people are taking the angle that you have. So my angle and what sets me apart is that I am so bent on very thoroughly and very deeply exposing those lies and deceptions of that industry and empowering people with the truth, giving people a real ground to stand on. My boot camp that I bring people through, it's not an eating plan. It's not a workout plan. It's a foundation that I give them, which is solid and they will never be moved from again. And every one of my clients has a testimony that says the same thing, that they're forever changed in a good way, in a freeing way. They're never going to be the same again. I believe that's what sets me apart. It's that angle that I take, and the fact that I am faith-based by the way I bring my message across, and leaning in on God and Christ for strength through your journey. That must happen. Because like I said, God did not create food to be a source of frustration or depravity. That's the enemy's work.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, is there anything that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think I've been pretty thorough as it is. Like, I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, no, if you ask any more questions, we're going to be here for a lot longer. So I think you pretty much you did a really great job, Andrew, or Anthony. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, for those that want to spend more time and would like to have a deeper conversation, how can they find you? Where can they get a hold of you?
Really simple. So if you want to find out, first of all, if you want to find out more about my boot camp that I mentioned, you can find that at this source as well. www.mastery, MASTERY, weightloss.com/connect. On that page, you kind of scroll down and you will see 4 buttons. The first one is to join my mini educational boot camp, which is at a phenomenal, reasonable price. Anybody can afford that. And the other 3 are, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can connect with me on Facebook, or you can book a free strategy call with me and let me kind of help you with some things, point you in the right direction, and see if you're a good fit to work with me. I always start, though, with my boot camp, because that's the foundation. And we have a whole session on mindset, all the angles. I have 7 different major angles I take with mindset. So it's really good. So www.masteryweightloss.com/connect. That's how you'll find my 4 main links there to connect with me or to work with me.
Perfect. And I'm going to put that in the show notes so it's super easy to find. Just go click and you'll be there. So if anybody would like to get a hold of Ken, do it. He's exactly the same in the one-on-one as he is here. I can tell you, if anything, he's more passionate in the one-to-one when he can really go into some of this stuff. So reach out, have the conversation. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Ken. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on our website. But thank you so much for your time, Ken. I really appreciate you coming on. Let's all go. Let's grow our circles. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.